Hello, hello. Welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I am a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium, and I have missed you so much. And we have had a week break where we didn't have Oracle Hour for last Wednesday or Sunday, and I have really missed my community. I've missed being here live and channeling spirit on your behalf. I'm so happy to be back. You notice I'm a little more tan than I was before I left. I went to Catalina with my then fiance, now husband, and we got married on Catalina Island, which was magical and beautiful, and just a very, very connective experience with friends and family, very intimate gathering. And I had a lot of space and a lot of time to just connect to how grateful I am for the life that I have created so intentionally. And thank you. Hi, AC. Hi, Miley. Hi, Jenna, nice to see you. Oh my goodness, I missed you. Hi, Miss Jules. Lacey's here with us tonight, so say hi to Lacey. She is my trusted moderator. Let me do my preliminaries. Two places tonight. We're actually live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, hello. I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. So if you want to ask questions, come and join us on YouTube. I literally walked in the door from the Catalina Express like half an hour ago, which is part of the reason why we're late tonight. But I couldn't wait to get to this broadcast and to be with you all, to channel spirit on your behalf. So again, if you're new to this community and you want to ask questions, if you feel called to receive a psychic reading, or you want a message from your spirit guides, your spirit team, or a loved one that has crossed over, mediumship does happen on the show, although I don't necessarily promote that. It does happen. I prefer to do mediumship in smaller mediumship circle events. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if you want a message, if you're struggling with some area of your personal life, it can be your business, your health, your marriage, your relationships, whatever it is that you're concerned with, something from the past or the present or the future, put your question in the chat. Don't be shy. There is really no question that the Oracle cannot answer. So go ahead and put your question in the chat. We answer them on a first come, first serve basis. Okay. For if you are returning, you know the protocol. So please go ahead and put your question in the chat section. For those of you that have joined our channel, if you've joined the first tier, you get priority answers in the chat. So we answer your questions first. And if you are third tier, you get access to all of my classes, all of my psychic galleries, events, mediumship circles, as a part of your membership. So those classes are free to you. This exclusive content that's only for third tier Inner Oracle Circle members. So make sure you join our channel so that you can participate in our upcoming mediumship event in August. Okay, so having said all that, it's good to be back. I'm going to jump in. We're going to talk a little bit about gratitude, and which is so present for me as far as like where I just was and all of my experiences, and also how to sort of navigate unexpected challenges. And this is something that is a very real experience for us humans. As we, you have your idea set on something, or you have an idea of how something's going to go, or you have a vision for how you want your life to unfold. And then, life just somehow throws you a curveball, or all of a sudden things are not panning out the way you expected them to be, or, you are sort of taken aback by what is occurring. Those are the moments when we really we gain an opportunity to really get to know ourselves, because in those moments we see our reactions, we see how the places we go into ourselves internally. Like, for example, if I'm getting frustrated or angry or scared or nervous, or if all of a sudden my doubt starts to kick in and I start to lose trust and faith, and I forget that I'm connected to something much bigger than me, and that everything is always happening for me. Right? There's always a greater purpose and a greater reason. And I've talked about this before. We talked about how to live in the flow, but really in a very real way. When you're planning something, for example, I just, planned my wedding, and multiple people coming from far away to join us, and there were many instances of like feeling like like I had to adapt and acquiesce and accommodate and, make sure that everyone was getting their needs met, including myself. And so these moments can really either contract us and they can bring out the worst in us, or we can use them as opportunities for growth and for expansion, to really expand our capacity to love, to be gentle with ourselves, to be soft with each other, and to trust that everything is always okay no matter what. As human beings, we can get really caught up in the details of what's happening, especially when things are not happening the way we want them to. And so it's important to just take that pause, breathe into your diaphragm, regulate your nervous system, and just take a step back and go, okay, how do I want to respond to this? How do I want to deal with this? What is the most loving way for me to interact here, to choose to interact here, so that I can feel good about myself, the choices I've made, how I'm behaving, and ultimately feel good, leave my loved ones or whoever it is I'm interacting with a good experience as well. Okay, because it's important for us to have peace with ourselves, and we can only do that if we're behaving in ways that bring peace, right? So I'm choosing to act peacefully. I'm choosing to create peace in my, with my thoughts and my feelings and my behaviors and my words. Because otherwise, that makes the reaction worse, right? So when human beings go into a state of reaction and then we lash out, what that does is it takes our power away, and then we feel depleted and drained, and we feel regretful and remorseful, and so it's kind of spirals out that way, right? So so just a reminder, and this was such a good reminder for me as we went away on this week, and there was so many moving parts, to just really find that point of center and ground and trust that everything is always happening exactly the way it's supposed to, and that there's always a lesson to be learned, or an opportunity to love more deeply ourselves and each other, so that we can learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and compassion, and ultimately just see it as being able to count it all joy, which is one of my favorite sayings. Actually comes from the Bible, to be able to count something all joy and say, it's all a gift, it's all a wonderful opportunity to find gratitude in the magic of life and how it unfolds. And I know for me personally, after having planned this week away with my family, everything just kind of like really just fell together perfectly. There was a lot of stress, like miscommunications and missed appointments and things like that, and then it all just kind of fell into place the minute I let go, the minute I trusted, the minute I allowed things to just let go of control and just allow things to flow. It was really, really beautiful how it all came together. And so of course, I've been through this process a million times especially in my inner work journey, my self-healing journey. And I'm never surprised, but I'm always amazed at the power of spirit, and how spirit moves things around, and really brings us exactly what we need in those moments when we're feeling doubtful, or we might be feeling anxious. And all that really does, when we're acknowledging that, is it opens up our capacity for being truly grateful for the life that we're able to live. And of course, I say that, I speak for myself, and I hope this is true for you too. If you are navigating life's challenges, and learning to relax and surrender and trust spirit, and trust the bigger picture, trust the intentionality that you've put into whatever it is you're doing, and allow things to unfold naturally and organically. Life is so much more pleasurable that way. And of course, we're here to have fun too. Okay, so that's my message for you tonight. I hope that resonated for you. I can't wait to answer your questions. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all. More people are joining us live. Amazing. Okay, Lacey, let's take the first question. Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda says, Sabrina, my saboteur, Samantha, has shown up, is interfering with my new relationship. What does she want? So is Samantha your saboteur, or is Samantha triggering your inner saboteur? I'm wondering if we can reframe that for you, Rhonda. Just that's the hit I get as soon as you ask your question. So if Samantha's an actual person and she's coming in and interfering with your relationship. Okay, so let me just tune into your exact question. I want you to sit with what I just said, and really sink into that and respond here. She's my inner. So your inner saboteur is trying to interfere with your relationship. Is that what you're saying, Rhonda? Thank you for the congratulations. Rhonda, just verify. Yes. Okay. So your inner saboteur, I like that you've named her. That's very creative and can be very helpful. It can be very helpful. Okay, good. So nothing can interfere with your relationship without your consent. Okay. So this is important that you're aware of that you're choosing all of it. Okay. Um, what your saboteur wants is to keep you safe. This is always the case. That's why we have what's called an inner saboteur. It's not really a saboteur, it's your inner child that's trying to keep you safe. It's that part of you, the conditioned part of you that says, it's not safe to love. It's not safe to be vulnerable. It's not safe to let go. It's not safe for me to advocate for myself or to, create intimacy with this person. And that's why it feels like she's interfering with your relationship. She, that part of you that's interfering with your relationship. So, this is all that's happening. She is acting on old BS, Rhonda says. Okay, good. So you're aware of that. So what she wants is to keep you safe. That's how you're going to meet your inner saboteur with compassion and non-judgment, is to just acknowledge that there's that part of you that wants to keep you safe, that wants to keep you, operating in ways that feel comfortable and normal because you're used to that. See, falling in love for you, Rhonda, and this can be true for anybody who's watching live or watching the replay. Falling in love is an edge, right? It's a way to expand our experience of ourselves, and of course of life, and ultimately of love, which is also an aspect of ourselves. So as you expand your capacity to experience yourself in this way, in this relationship, it's going to trigger fear, right? Because you're in the unknown. It's kind of like going further and further into the deep end, when you're either in the pool or the ocean. Imagine, just immersing yourself in the water. And if you're not a strong swimmer, if you're not that comfortable with swimming, if you haven't gone swimming in a long time, right, the deep end might bring up some fears of survival, some fears of like, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be safe? Does that make sense, Rhonda? So your fear is being triggered. That's all that's happening. And so what's really important is to meet your fear with compassion. Love is more powerful than fear. On the map of consciousness, if you look at unconditional love, it calibrates much higher than the frequency of fear. And if you immerse yourself in unconditional love and compassion, really meeting your own need for reassurance and for safety without having to rely too much on your partner, you can communicate. And this is very important, Rhonda. You can communicate your triggers with your partner, but your partner is not responsible, right? Your partner isn't responsible for helping you overcome your fear. They can offer reassurance and support, but you're ultimately responsible for healing yourself. And that's why you're in this relationship. Like, first of all, I want to say, Rhonda, I really love this man that you're dating. I really think he's good for you. I think he is really showing up and holding steady. I was about to say I feel scared. Okay, good. So this is what I'm picking up. And this isn't, I mean, of course, this is intuitive work, but this is very common, when you're entering into a new relationship, especially since it's been such a long time. It feels like for you. Hey, Jonathan. Since it's been such a long time for you, it's important that you recognize, like, look, I haven't made myself this vulnerable in a really, really long time. So of course it's going to trigger fear. Of course you're going to want to protect yourself. Of course there's a part of you that says, "Oh my God, are you crazy? Let's just go back to the way things were and keep ourselves safe. Let's keep ourselves in the normal way of functioning." But you weren't getting your needs met, right? You called this in. You wanted this love. You manifested this relationship. And this is so important. A few weeks ago, I did a broadcast on receiving. We're so good at calling in what we deeply desire because we're so used to longing and longing and longing for more and wanting more and wanting more. And yet when the thing that we're calling in arrives, we struggle with receiving it, because receiving it means I have to be able to step into it with courage, with faith, and with deep trust that I'm going to be okay. I can handle this. I can receive this. I don't have to be afraid about it being taken away from me. I don't have to be afraid of being hurt or being, And that doesn't mean you won't be hurt. It just means, Rhonda says, thank you, Sabrina. I'm okay. I'm safe. I did manifest this life. That's right. You did. And so this is the reassurance I want you to offer yourself. Exactly what I'm saying. Meet yourself with compassion. I'm safe. I manifested this. I can handle it. I created this because I deeply desire it, and I'm worthy of this love. If you can just stop and learn to recognize that it's just fear that's being triggered, and just reaffirm for yourself in those moments, I am worthy of this love. I accept this love. I receive this love. Then you can enjoy yourself in this relationship. You can enjoy being in this container, which is expanding you. And here's the thing I'm going to say, and I don't know if you're ready for me to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Falling in love doesn't mean you're not going to get your heart broken. It just means you're willing to. Okay. And that's important because, we fall in love and we want to fall in love, but we want all the reassurance in the world that this is going to be forever. This is the real thing. It's not going to go anywhere. It's like we need all of the buffers that will keep us from feeling the pain of what it means to really expand and make yourself vulnerable. It's not possible to fall in love. True deep connection, true deep intimacy requires a willingness to make yourself so vulnerable and so raw that you could potentially get hurt, and that's okay. The point of it is that you're never going to be broken as a result of this relationship potentially not working out. You're just going to have the direct experience of how much you can love. You will know that more deeply about yourself than you ever would have if you hadn't entered this relationship, which is such a valuable experience in and of itself, So, and I know this. I mean, I've been talking about this all night, and I talked about it last time. I just married my beloved, and I was willing when I fell in love with him to have my heart broken. And you have to be willing to put it all out on the table and say, I'm willing to go all in on this, so that I can experience deep intimacy and deep love. Okay. Rhonda says, I get that. You've said it before. Yeah, that's right. I've said most of these things before. So this is for you and for anybody watching live or the replay. You cannot live a life that's fully self-expressed, a life that is fulfilling, a life that is deeply connective, that is intimately enriching, that is peaceful, that just kind of rocks you to the core and keep yourself safe at the same time. You just can't. If you want to be safe, you're going to miss out on these deep, enriching experiences. So I want you to, and of course, I want you to gauge. Okay. So we want to take risks, but we want to take risks that feel aligned with our value system. You want to take risks that feel aligned with, your body's signals, where you feel safe and you feel like you can trust the person that you're with. Okay. So use your discernment there. But that's what's happening, Rhonda. Okay. That's all that's happening. So just do the inner work, bring yourself back to center, and share with your partner what you're going through so that he can hold space for you. He can't fix it for you, but he can hold space for you and support you while you're going through what you're going through. Okay. Good. All right. Next question. Thank you for being here, Rhonda. Hi, Ms. Jules. Okay. Ms. Jules says, hi, Sabrina, just checking in to see if Spirit has any messages for me. Thank you and blessings. Okay. So Spirit always has a message for you. Always has a message for you, Jules, for anybody, for all of us every day. So, and I want to empower everybody to develop a dialogue with Spirit. Developing a dialogue with Spirit means you develop a spiritual practice. Any kind of practice doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be riddled with ritual and dogma. I certainly just, whenever I have an opportunity to sit and close my eyes and take a deep diaphragmatic breath, I feel connected to something, instantly connected to something bigger than me. Okay. So, and I'm saying this because that's part of your message, Miss Jules, is that, I feel like you need to practice like a little bit of what I talked about earlier, like faith and trust and the unfolding of the bigger picture. There is, there is a longing for a beloved, a longing for a partner, and you've been sort of keeping that on the back burner. You haven't really been fully moving forward with that or trying to pursue that. I feel like a lot of parts of your life are on hold. And Miss Jules, I want to tell you to stop putting yourself on hold. That's the message I have for you tonight. Like, to really go for it. Like, it's never going to be the right time. You're never going to be in the right, shape or condition, or the perfect circumstances don't exist. So stop holding yourself back and really go for the thing that you want to go for. This is the message the spirit has for you. The other thing I want to say too is, I don't know if you're still here with us, or if we lost you, but if you're here and you can verify, that'd be great. There is a man in spirit realm. It feels like a brother energy that is here for you, just kind of communicating like that you've done what you needed to do. This has to do with family. So, and I think you're caregiving your mom. So, oh, Miss Jules is still here. Good. So there's a brother in the spirit realm, has to do with family, saying, the messages for you is like, you've really gone above and beyond. You've taken care of your mom and you've done everything you can possibly do. It's going to be okay. Like, you're being asked to let go and to stop putting yourself on hold. Okay. Oh, Miss Jill says, yes, still caregiving. Okay. Yeah. This is going to go on for some time, I feel like, with your mom, but you need to learn how to manage this role and still have a life. So your brother, it feels like a brother energy in spirit is kind of saying, like, start putting yourself first, stop holding yourself back. It's time to let go a little bit and let other people take care of her too. Step back a little bit. It's become such a part of your identity. It's almost like you don't know who you are without doing this. And that's, that happens, especially when we are immersed in something that we care deeply about and that we feel fully responsible for. But it's important that you take a step back now. Okay. Really take a step back and start putting your needs first. You've also been hiding in this role too. And it's important that you acknowledge that. Okay. What is, oh, Miss Jewel says, yes, you're right. Okay. Yeah, good. So, if I'm right, it, you feel it, I'm channeling your higher self is communicating directly to you and saying, it's time to put yourself out there and to go for the things that you really want. This is the message you'll keep getting over and over again. And I want to say this for all of you that are coming for readings, that come often for readings and for guidance. It's important to implement the guidance that you get. Otherwise, it's the same message over and over and over again. Once you implement things, then you give sort of spirit an opportunity to start to go to work in your life. And, when I hear guidance and then I take action on that guidance, things start to open up, pieces start to move, situations start to take a different shape. And all of a sudden there are new developments. And when there's new developments, then there's new messages. And this is, again, part of creating an ongoing dialogue with the spirit realm. Imagine living in communion with spirit. Not in as a slave to your mental altar of fear or conditioning or limiting beliefs and so on. So many of us are trapped in 3D, right? So think about that. Think about, who would you rather be connecting to, or what would you rather be connecting to rather, and feeding from on a daily basis, receiving spiritual guidance and intuitive guidance on what your next best move is. Okay. So I really want you to think about that. Think about developing this relationship with spirit where you're in constant communion with spirit, not just how it feels in your personal experience, but what it feels like in the collective, on the whole. How is this affecting me, the people in my life, my energy, my environment? Whenever we choose to serve our higher selves, we are serving not just ourselves, but we're serving the collective as well. So that can really give us that perspective, and sort of open things up as well, especially when we feel alone. You're welcome. Miss Jules says, thank you. You're always so welcome. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your beautiful question. All right, good. Next question. Hi, Jenna. Jenna says, hi, Sabrina, your energy is palpable. Thank you. I'm curious to know about messages from my guides and guidance as I'm going through a difficult time. Thank you. Okay, Jenna. Let me see what I have for you. I feel a lot of maternal energy. So, like, I want to say there's like a mom, like it feels like a mother who's crying, or a mother in crisis, like a heartache, mother's heartache. And of course, if you can verify any of these messages, that would be best, so I can keep channeling for you if we still have you here on the line. There's so much grief And there's a need for yeah, there's a need for like you to process your feelings. Obviously, there's a need for you to process your grief. But I also want to say that there is a mom energy in spirit who wants to communicate with you, who wants to apologize for some experience of abandonment. Like whether she abandoned you in your sorrows, in your time of trouble. My mom passed away years ago. Okay, good. So I feel like she's here. She's like kind of like there's a mother's lament here, like kind of, wanting to bring a message of reassurance and bring a message of acknowledgement that you were abandoned, like you were kind of alone in your time of need, and your mom couldn't be there for you, and she wants to sort of bring the message that she's with you. She wants to reconcile for what happened in your life, in when she was here, earthside, and also to just remind you that like you don't have to carry this burden alone. I feel like this is something that came, was passed down through generations, where your mom felt like she was carrying all this burden alone, and then you're feeling this too. It's like, she wants to remind you that you have support, and that yeah, there's something about a bird. I'm seeing a bird, like it looks like red robin. Um, and perhaps she visits you in this form, or there's a connection there somehow between the two of you. These are just some of the images I'm seeing, and it's almost like she's just reminding you to like, to she says, I was a young mother, but more recently my son passed away. Okay, so this is the mother's tears and the mother crying. This is what I'm feeling as soon as I tune into your energy. And so your mom is here to console you and offer you some support in your grief. Yeah, I mean, I can't, I first of all, my deep condolences for the experience you're going through. I would love to connect you more deeply with your son. If you want to come for a mediumship reading, I would love to support you in that way. That would be the ideal environment to connect with him and be able to interact with him direct, just more intimately. So we'll put the link for that for you as well. We'll do that at the end. But for now, I just want to say, like, this deep grief that you're going through, it's so important for you to get support. Even your mom is saying, and the robin is your son. That makes sense now. That why I'm seeing this young bird, it's just kind of flapping his wings and wanting to be free. I feel like your son is out of pain. Was like he struggled a lot, either with mental health, depression. Feels like he grappled with some heartache, and he just wants you to know that he's at peace and that he's not suffering anymore. And so you need to really find support in your community. You need to find support in your family, your loved ones. There's a deep experience of being alone and like nobody really understands what you're going through, and that's not true. Like there are people in your environment that you can lean into for support. First of all, thank you for being here. We are your community, so we are supporting you in what you're going through. And losing a loved one is never easy. It's really important in these moments to be able to connect to just this understanding that even though our loved ones pass away, love doesn't die, it just changes form. And so you're connected to your son, even though he's gone. He wants you to know that you did everything you could for him. And I think that's an important message for you, because there's some moments where you grapple with, did I fully show up? Was I, is there something I could have done? That kind of thing. And so, he wants you to know that you were fully there for him, and that he is there to help you in your grieving process. If you would connect with him, sort of come out of hiding, come out of being alone, and really just open yourself up to talking about your grief, sharing it openly with other people, and connecting deeply with his spirit. There are some items in his room still. I feel like there are some things of his that you have from when he was younger, that you could connect with. He was so special, and I miss him so much. Yeah, I believe that. I feel it. I can feel the bond between the two of you. I can feel his innocence. I see a picture of him in a baseball uniform. It's interesting because the picture looks black and white. So I don't know if that's him or someone in your family. But I can see that there are some items that of his that you could be connecting with, just to like give yourself permission to feel his spirit, feel his energy. It's very helpful at times to be with the items that our loved ones leave behind, just so that we can take time to really feel their presence, and experience their love, and just trust that he's still with you. Okay. I know how much you miss him, and he does too. And he's just kind of like, again, showing me this red robin who's sort of coming in. Yeah, it feels like it's cold where you are too. So, it's just being outside and connecting with him and connecting with his energy, and just know that he's with you in spirit. And that, even though you're still grieving him, and your mom is here also supporting this grieving process, and she wants you to know they're together, and she's watching over him, and that he is safe and he's at peace now. Okay. So I leave you with his love, and we'll put a link here for you to book a mediumship reading, so you can come and talk to me one-on-one, and we can connect with his spirit. Okay. There is we have a promotion going on right now, so it's $150 for 30 minutes. Jenna, if you'd like to book, I would love to see you and connect you with your son, and we can get into the details of your connection with him. Okay. Beautiful. Hi, Miley. Miley says, hi, Sabrina. Do you think my son has a chance of being accepted to the University of Maryland School of Medicine in Baltimore, MD? You're welcome, Jenna. You're welcome. Sorry, Lacey. I messed up the message. Can you put it back? Thank you. Okay. Hi, Miley says, do I think my son has a chance of being accepted to the University of Maryland School of Medicine in Baltimore? For the year, this is a yes or no question. Yes, he does have a chance of being accepted. It feels like winter. So it feels like January. I don't know if the semester starts in January. There is a semester that starts in January, but it feels like January. So January 2026 perhaps feels cold where he's going. And yeah, it feels like this is a bigger school, seems like, than where he was before. Yeah, I think this is in a much better area. Feels like it's in a better area, better environment for him. It feels like there's a supportive community as well. And this is where he could, even potentially stay beyond university. So I feel like this is a good move. Okay. So this is a simple yes or no question. I'll give you a simple yes or no answer. Yes, to proceed on the application of this. And it looks like it's going to go forward for him. And mine's yay. Yay. I love giving good news. Mothers and sons tonight, mothers and sons. So I think that this is important, and it's important for you to co-create for him, everything we've talked about, the embodiment of this vision being made manifest, and how it feels to have it work out. We're all manifesting that gets accepted. It feels like we're on the edge of something amazing. Beautiful. I love that this is a family affair, family endeavor. And so, yeah, I want you to just keep holding the frequency of him finding. Again, don't be attached to the school, although I feel like this is a good environment for him. It's in a better area, better environment, better community, community of brothers too, like community of like-minded friends and students that he will really click with, which is good for him, because he needs that support. He needs that community, especially it's a new environment for him. He's not going to know anybody. So I feel like he's going to click well with the people there. But keep holding that vision for him, of being, in the right environment, the environment that's going to, it would be a dream come true, is 30 minutes from home. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. This is what you want. This is why he didn't get accepted at the other school. It's always never rejection. It's always redirection, right? So this is definitely I feel like a full body yes around this. And, I think you had a part in co-creating it, right? So we're not just here to predict the future. We're here to create it with our intention, with our beliefs, with our language, with our choices, with our actions. And so just really staying in the frequency of this happening, this unfolding, this manifesting for the benefit of all beings. You see how this serves your son's highest and best good, and also your family as well, right? And also mom, who's only 30 minutes away. His MCAT is 5 points below of their regular dome. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna matter. I don't think that's gonna matter. I think a good strong letter of recommendation, or a good strong letter of reference, a good application, a solid application, and an in-person interview is going to make up for that. Okay, so that those are the parts that are unfolding, and it's going to go well for him. Okay, so just keep staying. Watch those doubts, watch those fears and those doubts, because they really interfere. They really get in the way of us being able to realize the life that we want for ourselves and for our children. Okay. And I says, thank you. He did all that and applied. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah. So that's all enough. Okay. Come back and let me know how that unfolds for you. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Who's next? Hi, Carrie Ann. Welcome. Carrie Ann says, hi, Sabrina. What do you see in my relationship with Nixon in the future and his current feelings? I want to say the first hit I get is that it's kind of soon to tell. It's kind of soon for him. He hasn't this feels very new. It feels like you're still kind of discovering each other. I don't feel like the feelings are very deep yet. Okay? You're still kind of um in the getting to know you phase, getting to know each other phase. Although there have been some, you know, this is what people do in the early stages of chemistry, is, there have been some overtures, or there have been some, I want to say foreshadowing about what's possible between the two of you, which can be very exciting. But I want you to stay grounded. Okay, Spirit saying stay grounded and really just let yourself enjoy him and stay present. Okay, so no, try not to future trip, as we say, the kids say, just stay grounded in the present moment and the natural organic unfolding of this relationship. I feel like Nixon has some issues from past relationships that he needs to resolve. I mean, we all do. But some of that stuff might bump up in your getting to know each other. And so it's important, and when you experience that, if that shows up, to really approach this situation with conscious love, with intentionality, and with awareness. Okay. When we are aware of our triggers, it makes navigating relationship that much easier. I feel like Nixon does want a partner. I mean, I think he came in with that. He came in with this notion that he does want a long-term relationship. He hasn't fully landed in it. Sabrina, we are separated. It's not new. I see. Okay. Well, then maybe that's what I'm talking about. Maybe this is a new relationship that's kind of coming back together, right? If you're separated, then you're kind of coming back. That's maybe the reticence that I feel in terms of Nixon, because it feels like there's stuff that's bumping up between the two of you. Okay. So again, it doesn't matter if you're starting fresh, or if you're just met, or if you're starting over, you're still starting over with this person. You're still starting new. So yeah, that's how I would interpret the energy now based on this information, is to really pay, be present and not put too much pressure on the future. I mean, not be too much, don't put too much pressure on, what the outcome of this relationship is going to be. Okay. Because there are issues from the past that are going to bump up, that need to be worked on with awareness and compassion. So, and I feel like it can tear you apart. It can stop the process of the relationship rekindling, if that's what your desire is. Okay. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done here, a lot of healing work for both of you. If him in his part, and it's not just the relationship you had, but it's also other relationships from his past that keep coming back. This goes as far back as his relationship to his caregivers, early childhood, his relationship to his mom. Okay, so there are some things that both of you need to work on in order for this to really be able to click, and for the two of you to find harmony with each other. Okay, there's a lack of harmony due to imbalances that have occurred in the past that will keep resurfacing until you learn to address them consciously and intentionally. But I do feel like I said, this person does want partnership. This person does want um, a long-term relationship. So he's coming in with that. It's almost like he just doesn't have the tools. Okay, so that's my message for you. Carry on. I hope that was helpful. Hi, Angela. Greetings from Canada. Great. Okay, who's next? Carrie Ann says, long term with me. He has feelings for you. He really does. I mean, it felt like to me when I first picked up on the energy that you were just kind of like in the getting to know you phase again, right? So, which is a beautiful thing. If you've been separated and you're coming back together, there is this era of really going deep with each other and learning to rediscover each other. And that's what I'm picking up on. So, I would say yes, he is, but again, you're going to bump into these old things, right? So, it's not going to be smooth sailing. So it's very important that you address your past, you address your issues, and that you put new structures in place, and that you learn to meet each other with compassion and non-judgment. Otherwise, you're just going to find a way out again. Okay. So it's very important, and I've said this with my partner. This is part of my vows. When things show up in our relationship, it's important to look for a way more in instead of a way out of the relationship. That's what fear can do. A trigger can actually invite you more into the relationship, or it can push you out. All right. So I do feel like he has feelings for you. I feel like you guys have like it's really very strong bond. Could be from a past life that keeps kind of, circling back. That's why you haven't been able to let each other go. So you're going to have to resolve this. Okay. Sabrina said, thank you, Sabrina. Very helpful. Okay, good. So yeah, you're going to have to resolve this. This is what happens especially when we have past life connection with someone. He's just like, the relationship won't leave you alone. You can't stop thinking about this person. You can't let this person go fully. He feels that as much as you do. All right. So it's just a matter of now seeing that with awareness, and going into it with awareness is what I mean. And then being very intentional with how you deal with your issues so that you can at least find peace in the relationship. Even if you don't find happily ever after, you can at least find peace with each other. Okay. And this is important if you're reconciling with this person. Okay. You're welcome, Carrie Ann. Okay. Bring back AC. Let's see what I know. I was just about to read her question, and let's read her question, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. Okay. AC, Sabrina says, you predicted that I'd be moving, and you are right. Yay. So I always joke with my friends in my community that the only thing I love more than people getting what they want is me being right about it. Of course, that's not important. What's important is that you're getting what you want, but I love being a part of that. My job in New York ended very badly. Oh, good. I'm sorry to hear that. Can you speak on that family a little bit? Also, I have a job interview on Friday. Any tips from my guides? Okay, good. Yeah, okay. The move is the best thing that could have happened. I knew New York was going to be tough with the roommate situation. I think you were living with roommates. I don't remember, but it feels like there was a sharing with other people. Okay, so here's what I want to say. Can you speak on that family a little bit? I don't know which family you're talking to, referring to, if you're talking about your own family. But so about family, this is what I want to say about family, since you brought it up, and please verify if I'm interpreting your question incorrectly. It feels like it's time for you to sort of reconnect with family. So your family is going to play a role in you getting established where you are, whether that's visiting with them, connecting with them, just there's like almost like a restorative process around connecting with your family, especially after everything you've just been through. Okay. So that's very important for you right now, is to go back to your roots, go back to where you came from, remember who you are, ground in your identity and your values. Cause I feel like going to New York was kind of a departure from that, and really focusing in on the kind of life you want to live. I know that it seems like there's a deep desire to start fresh and start and be sovereign and be independent and be on your own, but you need your family during this period of your life. The people I was living with. Oh, gotcha. Okay, the family was the people you were living with. Okay, so you need your family right now to sort of heal what you've been going through. So maybe a visit with them would be really good in this restorative process. The people, like, I feel like it was a very toxic situation. That's what I was picking up on, the roommate situation, or whoever it was that you were with. Feels like it was not what you were looking for. Not really, they weren't really honoring you. She says, yes, I definitely want independence. Yeah, you need that. This is part of, you're with family now. Okay, good. So family is an important theme right now in your current energy. So being with them is going to help you sort of regroup, and restore. Yes, they were not honoring me. Yeah, I feel that. I'm sorry you had that experience. Um, sometimes, I mean, I'm sorry, and I also know that it's serving your highest and best good, right? So I have compassion for the pain that you've experienced, and I also know that what you went through is actually serving your highest and best good in terms of developing your discernment, your capacity. I feel like going to New York was kind of like, oh, I want to go experience this. And that we knew that the roommate situation, I think we talked about this, might have been a little bit difficult. You had to set proper boundaries. You had to really make sure you're putting structures in place to honor yourself and honor your needs, right? So this is the lesson. This is the lesson from what happened. It's not that you made a mistake. It's not that you went somewhere you weren't supposed to go. It's that I went and I learned about what I need, what my boundaries are, what I require, the kind of work environment I need to be in, the kind of place I want to live in. There is a part of you that really, like I said before, really wants independence, really needs independence. And this being with your family right now is going to help restore you so that you can create that foundation for personal sovereignty. This is what you want to manifest. Okay. The new job feels like it's a much healthier environment. It feels much more conducive to just overall well-being. Actually, it feels like it's in even a different industry. It's kind of a bit of a departure from where you were, a different type of role. She says, yes, I tried to set boundaries and they were not happy about it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's your first clue, right? When you set a boundary and people are pushing back against your boundaries, they're definitely not honoring you. And that's a definite red flag. Okay. So, and that's okay, because that's how you learn. We learn through these experiences, through our pain is there to teach us, oh, that doesn't feel good, let me make sure that I put a boundary in place, or I put a structure in place, or I advocate for myself, or I learn how to manage this part of my life in such a way that does honor me, so that I don't put myself in these situations. This is part of the human experiment, what you're here to learn. You're here to learn boundaries. You're also here to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. This is a big part of your dharma right now, AC, is how do I cultivate life on my own? How do I find my independence? How can I find a job that honors me, and an environment where I can live and feel safe and feel whole and feel complete onto myself? Okay. And so this is going to require some inner work, some inner reflection. The job is good, though. The job is kind of getting you out of this sort of toxic environment. And it feels like it's a simpler, cleaner, more nurturing place that you're going to. And it feels like it's closer to home too. So I don't know if you're moving back or moving away, moving out of New York. But this is more of a long-term situation that you're moving into. And it's going to require a little bit of adjustments in terms of what you thought you were going to be doing in life, or in terms of career. But it's a good, stable place for you to be in, okay, right now. And keeping in mind that nothing is permanent. So this next phase of your evolution is to teach you what you need to learn to grow and be and embody all of these qualities that we're talking about, this job doesn't feel permanent either. I mean, to me, nothing feels permanent other than eternal life. But for, and I say this, tongue in cheek, because as human beings, nothing is permanent. You're doing the role that you're going into is actually a stepping stone. Okay. Yeah. She's saying it is much closer to home than new job. I feel that. So this is a yes. If this is the same job that I'm picking up on, it's a yes. And it's going to feel much more conducive to your overall well-being, much more conducive to your wellness, good boundaries. I feel like there's even like some health and wellness thing that they sponsor or they encourage you to participate in as well. So it feels like a much more connective experience for you, a little bit different than the role that you were doing, the job that you were doing before. And it's going to be much, much better for you. So New York was not bad for me. Like I did nothing. No, I wouldn't say no, nothing is bad for you. You didn't do anything wrong. You went for something and it didn't work out. You tried to advocate for your needs. It sounds like you tried to set boundaries and it wasn't the right environment for you. It's very important that we don't take things not working out personally. Okay. It's not a reflection of you. Okay. This is just, okay, what did I learn from this experience? Your homework, AC, is to stop, rewatch this portion of the video, even listen to the beginning when I talk about navigating challenges, and really think about, it's part of why this message came through tonight, is to answer questions like this. How did I behave? How did I handle myself? Did I react peacefully? What could I have done differently? How can I prevent something like this in the future? What do I need to put in place to make sure that I am getting my needs met? This is part of your learning experience. Okay. Even a psychic reading is never meant to help you leapfrog over your most important life lessons. You still got to go through them. The intuitive readings are just there to give you the guidance and the support and the reassurance you need that you're connected to your spirit, the spirit realm. There are people and guides that are there supporting you, and it's here to offer you the insights that you might need in order to be able to navigate a situation with better clarity and deeper understanding and more trust and more faith that you are supported and divinely guided every step of the way. That's true for you and for anybody who's getting readings and who joins us in these broadcasts, and all our community members. Okay. So no, this wasn't bad for you. You didn't do anything wrong. It's important for you to, like I said, it's time with your family right now is very restorative. I'm so glad you're there, because you're going to regroup, take a step back, learn to forgive yourself, meet yourself with compassion and non-judgment, and start fresh. The job close to home feels like a good jumping off point from this point forward. And the time in between is important for you to integrate all the lessons that you've learned. Okay. Thank you for your question. Thank you for sharing with our community tonight. We are going to wrap there, everybody. It's good to be back. It's good to be here. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. And if you didn't get your question answered tonight, I will be back on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be here live with you. We're actually starting on time at 5. And we'll schedule the broadcast in advance so you can join and ask your questions. For those of you that want readings, the link for readings is coming up here in a minute. Lacey's got it. It's Readings with Sabrina. There it is. So go ahead and book that. 30 minutes. Like I said, we have a promotion right now. 30 minutes is $150. If you want an hour, of course, that's more. You can go to my website and check out all my programs and all my offerings. I do one-to-one containers and mentorship. If you want to be part of the Inner Oracle community, which I would love to have you, please join our channel. It's a third tier membership. It's $50 a month or $49.99, and you get access to the mediumship classes and psychic readings, psychic gallery events, and exclusive content on my channel. Okay. And I will leave you with that, with all my love. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you Sunday at 5 p.m. Bye for now.